There is an African proverb that says, "It takes a village to raise a child." Anyone who has raised a child knows how difficult it is. To those parents who are raising children alone, I applaud you, because it truly takes a village. Look at our own children. By the time they become teenagers, how many people have they come in contact with? How many people have molded them into the person they became? Bad English. Countless thousands. Teachers, nursery school teachers, Sunday school teachers, neighbors, parents, siblings, grandparents. The list goes on and on. We could spend all day here trying to figure out who our kids have seen. But that's not what it's about. It's about people helping each other. People helping each other, not just raising children, but helping each other when people are ill. And that's what happens in Luke's gospel this morning. The village helps the centurion, just as the centurion has helped them. Now the centurion, we hear, says he's not worthy, but yet both the villagers and Jesus think very differently. See, a centurion is a non-commissioned soldier who would have commanded about 100 people, 100 soldiers. Typically, they were the occupiers. They were the enemy. But this centurion was different. Not quite sure how or why, but it's speculated that he might have believed in the Jewish God and recognized Jesus as the Son of God. And he understood that so much that he paid and had the synagogue built in that town. That's huge. Here is somebody who is supposed to be the enemy that is helping instead of hurting. And so his good deeds he knew where to go when his slave, his trusted servant, got sick. He knew that if Jesus was around, that was where he was to go. As priests, some people say that we are in persona Christi. We are Christ in person. I believe that we are all Christ in person. We are all people. We are all faces of Christ. But 2 weeks ago, when I went to the hospital to visit somebody, I was walking from the parking lot, hoping to go see our parishioner. And I was stopped in the main hallway. And I was asked, "Are you an employee of the hospital?" And I'm like, "No." "Why would you ask?" And they're like, "Well, my father is up on the 4th floor and is sick, and I think it would be really good if you could go talk to him." Okay, no problem. What room is he in? So I go up there. Then I'm coming down, going to see our parishioner, and I get onto that floor, and the nurse says to me, "Are you the priest for our floor today?" And I'm like, "No, I'm here to visit a parishioner, but if there's somebody that needs to be seen, sure, let me know. I'll come back out after I see our parishioner." Well, I came out, and the nurse goes, "Yes, they'd like to see you. They're in room 2. I'm like, okay. Now, you're never quite sure what you're going to get when you walk into a hospital room of somebody that you don't know. If you're in the hospital, I sort of know what I'm going to get myself into. I have a relationship with you. I know why you're there. Well, this person, I walked into the room and I found 2 30-something women crying. with a older gentleman. Older, I have to watch what I say that I'm getting older. Maybe in his 50s? No, maybe a little, somewhere around that. I know, don't look at me like that, Angela. Happy birthday, since you're 50 now. Someone around there, the decision had been made to remove life-sustaining support from this man. And I walked in not knowing that. And they asked, could you offer last rites to our father? My first words are, I'm not Catholic, so I hope that's not a problem. And they're like, it doesn't matter, it's all one God. And I sat and I prayed with this family. The moral of the story was, it takes a village. It takes more than one person. When we walk into anywhere, and I'm using we inclusive of all of us, we are the face and the hands of Christ. The centurion felt he wasn't good enough. The centurion felt that because he was an occupier, that Jesus shouldn't go to him. But Jesus responds with, not even in Israel have I found such faith. Here is a man who is on the outside of the community. He is not one of us. Yet Jesus continues to heal him, heal his servant. Because God's grace extends beyond just the people in the church. By Jesus healing the centurion's slave, it shows that everyone is welcome around God's table. It extends to all of us, to even those people that we don't like. The person that cut you off on the way to church this morning that you're angry at. That person that is taking too long at the checkout line. That person that bought the last whatever that you wanted. All those people are also receiving God's grace. And we have to always remember that. That's a huge thing. God's grace extends to all. There are some people who proclaim that God's grace only extends to the chosen. But this reading this morning shows that's not true. And since we are the hands and feet of Christ, then we must also extend that grace, God's grace, to all people. Those people we struggle with, wrestle with, and those people who believe differently from us. We are all recipients of God's grace, and we are welcome around God's table. Thanks be to God.